Inside the Americas this week, Brazil scrambling to get everything ready with less than a month to go before the Olympic Games. Tesla Motors faces questions on its technology as a customer dies using the autopilot function. And NASA looks to Jupiter for clues on the formation of the world, all thanks to a little spacecraft known as Juno. First, though, Brazil had guaranteed that the Olympic Games in August would go smoothly, and that is increasingly looking like a risky gamble. The infrastructure is not 100% completed yet. That includes public transport connections to reach some of the sports venues. Brazilians, meanwhile, are facing severe economic downturn and hope that the Games will at least provide temporary jobs. John Delamore and Nicolas Ranson report from Rio.
It's now a familiar scene on the streets of Rio. Thousands lining up, CVs in hand, in the hope of getting a job.
There's no work, no opportunities. The cost of living is very high.
State government coffers are empty. A financial emergency has been declared and people are worried. Today, 1,600 jobs during the Olympic Games are up for grabs, from cleaning and reception work to security. Cosme Luis hasn't worked for months and he's willing to take whatever he can get.
I'm broke. I used someone else's bus card to get here this morning. See this card? It was lent to me so I could come here and leave my CV.
Unemployment in Brazil is currently at 12% as the country navigates an unprecedented economic crisis. Rio hasn't escaped the downturn, but the Games have brought a temporary boom with 60,000 new jobs suddenly on the market. This human resources specialist says he's never seen anything like it.
A lot of people are feeling lost, desperate. They can't find permanent jobs. But with the Olympics, in Rio at least, doors are opening for these people.
So a last-minute rush on jobs, but also at the Olympic Park itself. 6 months after it was due to open, the city has finally unveiled the last completed venue, the Velodrome. A competition was held to test the facility and reassure members of the International Olympic Committee. Relief then for Rio's mayor, who's proud of the Olympic legacy despite this economic crisis.
All projects in which the City Council has been involved, 90% of all the work has been delivered without exception. And I'm very optimistic about the metro. We know there are still some financial problems, but the work is going very well, and tests have already started.
But there's still much left to do, including finishing this bus station that will connect the metro to services to the Olympic Park. To ensure the Games run smoothly, the federal government has agreed to release a further €800 million in emergency funding. Despite a €5 billion state deficit, Rio's top finance official says the world's biggest sporting event will go ahead as planned.
Money for the Olympics has already been ring-fenced. There's the crisis in Rio and Brazil, which I think is in the process of being solved through a political solution, which is taking shape.
But the extra federal government funds won't be enough to end scenes like these. Teachers have been on strike for more than 3 months now over pay, part of a wider budget crisis that's also prompted strikes and protests by firefighters, police and pensioners. The Olympics will offer a brief distraction, but once the party's over, Rio de Janeiro will have to face up to some harsh realities.
To the U.S. election campaign now, the race to the White House. And I think it's safe to say that Donald Trump must be regretting one of his latest tweets attacking Hillary Clinton, which drew fire not just from the Democrats, but also from leading Republicans. The tweet accuses Clinton of being corrupt. Now, that's a familiar line of attack for Trump, but look at this. This picture combines a star, which looks every bit like a Jewish Star of David, and a background of banknotes. The Trump campaign pulled the tweet after it was accused of using anti-Semitic symbolism and rhetoric. Meanwhile, for the Democrats, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama shared a stage for the first time since the beginning of the campaign. The U.S. president once again unleashing a few zingers aimed at Donald Trump.
He led the chants, making it clear he's ready to pass the baton. Hillary, he said, is the one to trust.
I believe in Hillary Clinton. And I want you to help elect her to be the next president of the United States of America. That's why I'm here.
I feel very privileged because
This was Obama's first campaign stump speech for Clinton. It was a show of Democratic Party unity and an opportunity to have a dig at their Republican rival, Donald Trump.
Everybody can tweet, but nobody actually knows what it takes to do the job until you sat behind the desk.
Obama was returning to North Carolina, a swing state that helped elect him in 2008.
It's very important for him to come back home in a sense to North Carolina, and also to show the minority voters that, he's still working hard on our behalf, and for all of us to come together and support Hillary.
God bless you, North Carolina.
Obama's energetic support for Hillary Clinton adds to a crucial announcement that could have a huge impact on the presidential race. The FBI is saying it will not recommend charges against her for using her private email to handle classified information. It says she was extremely careless, but no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case.
It was only a few weeks ago that car manufacturer Tesla unveiled its latest model to great fanfare. The Californian startup aims to revolutionize the auto industry with high-end electric vehicles and constant innovation. But the brand has suffered recently. They're failing to meet delivery schedules, stocks are down, and crucially, the death of a driver who was using the new autopilot function has cast a doubt on the technology. Julia Seeger and Clément Bonnereau have this story.
Joshua Brown was 40 years old. A self-confessed Cars fan, he was particularly proud of his Tesla and its autopilot system. In fact, he liked it so much, he even boasted about it on the internet. This video he posted on YouTube shows his car automatically steering right to avoid a lorry in the next lane. Joshua used to say his car was the best he'd ever owned.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my hands down here. It takes all the stress out of it. Tell you what, it's like, at least now you don't have to worry about anything. It's just let it go.
Joshua Brown died last May after colliding with a lorry. The self-driving function was activated, but the car failed to detect the vehicle that had driven across its path.
He went so fast through my trailer, I didn't see him.
In a statement, Tesla said the car was apparently unable to recognize the lorry's white trailer because of the brightly lit sky. But suspicions now center on Tesla's autopilot feature. U.S. authorities are looking at whether it performed as expected or was at fault. The incident could be a serious blow to Tesla, and it's not the first time problems have been reported. In this video, the autopilot fails to detect this van parked in the middle of the road. In this other video, the car steers left and almost hits another vehicle coming from the opposite direction. Tesla says that while its technology is safe, drivers must remain cautious and keep their hands on the driving wheel at all times. Experts, however, warn that manufacturers also have their share of responsibility.
I think the responsibility of manufacturers and these partially automated capabilities is to understand that human drivers will become inattentive almost immediately. And if the car does have limitations, particularly blind spots on highways, the onus is on the manufacturers to fix these problems.
Tesla says it's working on improving its technology, reminding users that the autopilot function is still in a public beta phase.
And score another success for NASA. The American Space Agency has put a new spacecraft in orbit around Jupiter. It's called Juno, and it's going to probe the inside of the planet for clues on how our world was formed. Ellen Gainsford explains.
After a journey of over 2 billion kilometers, NASA's Juno expedition is now orbiting Jupiter.
On Juno Accord, we have the tone for burn cutoff on Delta B. Juno, welcome to Jupiter.
Drawn in by the planet's gravity, it was a nail-biting descent. The slightest error, and Juno would have sailed past the gas giant.
We hit our burn targets within 1 second on a target that was just tens of kilometers large. Isn't that incredible? That's how good our team is. And that's how well the Juno spacecraft performed tonight.
The $1 billion project aims to find out how Jupiter was formed and how much water it holds, which is key to understanding our solar system. For these scientists, it's a culmination of 15 years of work.
It's a combination of excitement and relief because you're overjoyed that it's there and that the reason you did the mission is now come to fruition. At the same time, you can't help but worry that something can go wrong. So there's a great feeling of relief in addition to that joy that you're there at Jupiter or you're there on Mars. But don't forget that this is the beginning of the science mission.
The mission will deliver stunning color photos via a specially designed panoramic camera. The spacecraft should circle Jupiter for 1.5 years. On its final ride around the planet, Juno will dive into its atmosphere and vanish.
And that's it for Inside the Americas. We're back next week with more. Do stay tuned. More news coming up on France 24.